Let's roll. Co-pilot on the passenger side, be so fly. Yeah, she so lit, we so high. Just me and my chick, yeah. Just me and my chick, yeah. Co-pilot on the passenger side, be so fly. Yeah, she so lit, we so high. Just me and my chick, yeah. Just me and my chick, yeah. She give me a bit of her love. Yo, what up, y'all? Welcome to another one, man. It's your boy Raw One, and this is Sparking Conversation. And y'all know what I do each and every week. I get up here and I talk to some of the world's most interesting people. And tonight I'm gonna do the same thing. But before I do that, y'all know what I do each and every week as well. I gotta give a shout out to the people that download the audio version of this platform. Y'all the real MVPs, man. I keep saying that each and every week. I'm forever be thankful because that's what podcasting is about. The visual part is just extra. It's the bonus. It's not what podcasting is. Podcasting is the audio. So that's why I tell each and every person out there, if you're thinking about getting in this game, man, I want you to be serious about it. Don't let people trick you out your spot thinking that you got to be prepared, have the big studio and all these other things, all the fancy mics and all the fancy equipment. Remember, it's about the content. It's about what you're talking about. It's about how you engaging with the audience and what you want them to get from why you feel like this is the reason for you to have a platform. It's not so much about the visual. Now, the visual is a bonus and you can monetize your platforms. And I think that you should do it all. But don't forget that this audio part is what podcasting is about. Apple, Spotify, all these other places. This is how you land on big brand deals because people will listen to what you have to say. People not always going to be able to watch you. So just remember that, right? There's a lot of people who still are in them cars and they're driving and they're doing these long distance situations, right? All over the world, not just around here. So whenever you think about your platform, I want you to think bigger. Don't think just where you are. Think bigger. Think beyond your little friends list. Think beyond the little limit you have. If you got 5,000 friends, I bet. Think past that because that means nothing. Because there's certain people that get 5,000 friends, but they get 40 and 30,000 views and likes on different things. So that doesn't mean everybody gonna, follow you. But that doesn't mean they're not watching you. So you just got to remember that, right? And the same thing when it comes down to the audio portion, they listening. So I want y'all to take it serious, man. Remember, the audio version of this platform and each and every platform that's out there is the most important part of podcasting. So there is a link in the description that you could click for RSS feed to go ahead and get yourself started. If you already are doing podcasting, if you platforming, if you got all these other parts already, good. Well, get your audio version sent out to everywhere it need to be. Podcasters with Apple, Spotify, Amazon, everywhere else people are streaming podcasts, you be in the game as well. All right? Back. So look, I want to do a few things because we got to talk about a few things tonight, all right, before I bring my guest up, right? But what I'm gonna do is we're gonna run through it, okay? Because it's really a lot of wild stuff going on out here, man. It's crazy. But let's get into these shout outs. So I want to give a special shout out to everybody who has pushed play today on the new content that just dropped today. Therapy Going Wrong Part 15 featuring me and my twin. Rose in the building, man. You know what I'm saying? We outside, man, with the whole vibe, man. So I want y'all to continue to support us, man. Thank y'all so much for everybody that's already pushed play on everything we dropped so far and the new things that we're doing. I told y'all each and every week a new piece of content will drop. And eventually it's going to get broke down to every day. And then eventually it's going to be multiple in a day. I'm telling y'all, I'm loading the clip and we working. And with that being said, we don't wait, we create. We don't wait, we create going down April 18th, Saturday. Y'all know who we looking for to be in the building. If you are a model, actor, actress, clothing designer, script or concept writer, brand ambassador, director, videographer, if you're a booking or casting agent, if you have a podcast, same thing. If you have a clothing brand, like, listen, we want y'all in the building and network with a bunch of other people who have the same concept in mind as you. And that's to be free and free doing the things that they love to do. And I'm telling y'all, for all y'all out there that's scared, and I know it's a lot of people who's worried about their jobs being taken through AI and everything else. So where's that going to put them? Where are they going to have to put all these products that they're going to be able to make? right? That they ain't gonna need your help to make or whatever they're gonna do. They're gonna need content to do that. So why not you be in the space? So that way when these big brands and these big companies are making so much money because they don't have to pay out somebody's sick this and 401k that and all that other stuff, then you'll be in the process. So you gotta do what you gotta do, man. Cause I'm telling you, what you love to do and the things that are inside you, sometimes if you just tap into that, you'll tap into your purpose. Most people don't understand your purpose will suffice. I promise it'll help you survive all of the things that's going on out here. Because the one thing that most people are worried about is money, money and bills. Bills is people gods. People are scared of bills. They ain't scared of nothing else in this world more than they scared of a bill. A bill is running everybody rampant out here. But the one reason why is because you won't work together. Everybody has some type of issue where they can't work as a team. And that's what's foul because everything in life has been set up for us to be separate and for us not to do it. And the fact that y'all don't see the play, and I know most people do, you got to at this point. Look at what's going on out here. But look, I'm about to get into my rant. I got a couple more things I got to do, and I got some comments already that we got to get into. But hold on. Before I start popping all this shit, listen, for those of you that understand that there's certain things that you feel inside of your body and it's bothering you on the outside and you can tell, and some people are afraid to do a little bit of research, but I want y'all to know sometimes the reason why you feel the way you do is because you may have parasites. I'm not saying you do, I'm saying you may have them. And if you do, I want you to look this up. I want you guys to go. I want you to look up the symptoms of having parasites and then see if any of these things compare to certain things that you're feeling, anything that you have going on. And if so, I need you guys to click the link in the description because they got it for y'all, for all the things that can help you get rid of these things, right? So we got the super binders, toxin, and heavy metals to get those out your system. And they also have the parasite detox, but the link is in the description. I want y'all to go click the link, get the information. All right. All right. And then you go ahead and assess for yourself if there's something that you need or not. But remember, a lot of things have a root cause. Everything is just not something that's made up. A lot of y'all are dealing with things that you think that are passed down in your family. And the only thing that is passed down is the way you eat. Greedy. Right. So that's what's got you. That's what got you balled up and what you got going on. And a lot of people are suffering from a lot of things mental, not knowing that it's because you possibly had parasites. And for those of y'all that don't know, yeah, there are certain parasites that affect certain parts of your brain. Don't think that certain people are going to tell you certain things when they're already making money off of you just to treat you. So in the event that you feel like that's something that you need to look up, if you have anything that you're dealing with that got you off balance, that got you feeling like you're not 1,000% you, then look it up, figure it out. And if it is, there you go. The link is in the description once you figure out if you and that have anything in common. All right. So, with that being said, I got all these things out the way so far. Look, y'all, I'm about to go into my rant before I bring my guest in, and y'all know how I feel right now. It's a lot of things to rant about, right? One of the things I wanted to talk about was this community thing, right, of working together because the fear is going on out here like crazy. They pumping fear. They doing things in the background. People are not paying attention, but if they're allowed to move certain needles because people are so emotional. Check this out. So this whole thing that's going on in New York, with whatever they got going on, where they're proposing that they want to shut the electricity off from 11 at night to like 5 in the morning. And what people are putting out there is the fear of how they feel like New Yorkers are going to act when it's dark outside, right? Because they're saying that people are going to start getting robbed and all these other things. And I'm trying to figure it out. Have they ever been to New York? Because the lights don't have to be out for that to happen if you're in the wrong spot. Right? This is not something that is new. So I hate the fact that when people get certain type of information, the first thing they do is they go to start promoting fear and feeling like everybody has got to be, in this place of defense all the time. Look, we already are paying attention to everything that's going on out here. But the one thing about it, whether you guys cut the lights off or not, what we found out that going through that, because, I'm from Jersey, growing up, we've been around when they had blackouts and all that other shit. So listen, people didn't go jumping in and out of people's houses because guns don't care if the light's on or off. You go in the wrong person's house, you may not come out.
that don't matter. This is not something that people are going to be sitting up here being scared of, but they keep pumping that, and they keep on pumping that, saying that, listen, it could be an agenda where they start in New York, and if they could do anything in New York, then ain't no other city safe. Like, if they could get New York to do anything they want them to do, they could do it to any other city, right? So I understand that, and most people are in fear of that. But then at the same time, then what are you going to do? They're working together against us, then why are we not working together to be against that? I don't really understand, because we don't need no great supreme leader to stand up. If y'all notice, everybody that ever stood up for everybody, they got handled. And when they got handled, everybody just went their separate way. Like, oh man, he gone, so we don't need to continue to fight. And it's corny, because that's the vibe. People ready to stand behind something. It's just like NBA teams. You got a whole bunch of professionals up there, but they get mad if LeBron don't hit the shot. Like, damn, didn't all of y'all work this hard to get here? Everybody should be able to hit the shot. But at the end of the day, this is what they out here preaching. And they want you to be scared, and they want y'all to not work together, and they want y'all to fear each other. And we keep putting ourselves in that position because, look, that's the vibe. That's what they're doing. But at the same time, if Elon is building this huge facility to be able to put out these Neuralink chips in order to give people the opportunity to be connected to the internet just with a thought, if he's able to do that, then why? I'm trying to figure out, at what point do people not follow the money? Because the one point about it, the people who got the money know what's coming down the pipe. Don't think they don't. The fact that they doing all these things simultaneously should help you guys to understand where the fear mongering is coming in at. But it's hard because people love to feel like something is wrong all the time. I hate talking to people where all they could talk about is something wrong. Everything is wrong. Why is something always wrong with you? Ain't nothing right? You can't find nothing right. Like, I don't know. Like, did you, was your coffee okay? Was your tea okay? Did you eat anything that you liked? What, anything? Are you wearing your favorite color? Have you seen your favorite color today? Did you see a flower? Did you see a butterfly? The bees are out. I don't know. Did you see anything that was good? Because I hate talking to people where all they can see is something negative and something bad. And then at the same time, those same people see the same thing going on in the world. And every time the news flash come on, first thing they want to do is holler about that, man. We don't care. Cats got solar generators out here. Cats got other things, and they waiting on somebody to come in their house, whether it's light or dark outside. We're not playing. Nobody need to be in fear. You need to find out ways to not be by yourself in times like this. Fix your attitude. Most of y'all are going to be in a situation where you're so independent until somebody got a kick in your door. And that's, and that's another thing. We all got to find this happy medium in order for us to be able to learn how to survive, because that's what it is. I hate that we have to be in survival mode in order for us to pay attention. But with wars going on and everything else going on out here, what else are we going to do? We got to be prepared. We don't need to walk around in fear, but we should be prepared, right? Because at the same time, let's think about this, right? Outside of that, look at gas. So with the war, you got all these things going on with gas. So now they got the gas that's being diluted, right? Everywhere you go, people are complaining that their gas is running out quick. They're filling up gas man high, but it's running out quick. And then you got reports of people saying, hey, they diluting the gas. They putting a whole bunch of ethanol in the gas, some type of corn-based ethanol they putting in the gas to thin it out a little bit, to stretch it out while they going through whatever they going through over there in the Middle East. And at the same time, it's like, damn, do you ever think once they get away with something, they ever go back? Like, do you think that if they was able to pull this off to where everybody would just, accept this new means of transportation and how we should get around, do y'all ever think they would go back? Like, let's think about that. Like, if they're going to gas you up with the wrong gas or the bad gas or the thin gas or the weak gas, whatever you want to call it, I don't think they'll ever fall back from it, right? Because people still going to jump in them cars, yo. But look, let's see what we're going to do, because I got a guest tonight, right? And what we're going to talk about is that very same thing, right? There's very few people who have somebody to talk to when things are going a certain way. or people who have a platform, right? Some people's platform are dedicated to gossip. Some people platform are just dedicated to, everyday people and what they have going on. And I like whenever I have people on who lend their platform into people or lend their platform to people in order to be some type of soundboard for them, because very few people have somebody that'll listen to them without judgment, because there are people who act like they've never gone through certain things in life. And for those who may not have gone through the exact same thing, it's still a way that you can empathize or relate to people in the struggle, right? Because all struggles are not the same. But the feeling of struggle is the same. So let's do this real quick. I had some comments. Let's get to some comments real quick. Dr. Val. Oh, Dr. Val, what's up? How you doing? Great to have you on. Hopefully you stay with us for throughout the, because this is going to be great, because when I had Dr. Val on, she's an advocate for those who have gone through certain type of domestic abuse, right? And different types of things, and she likes to talk to people. So it's crazy that she's popping in tonight, you know what I mean, to go along with sort of the theme of tonight's conversation, which is, a safe space, right? Let's see what else is going on. Cuzzo, what's up, y'all? How you, man? Great to always catch and hear from you. Love you much. Love you much. Love you much. I bet. So listen, I'm about to bring my guest up here, man, so we can chop it up with her and get into what's going on in her world, because she has a new platform that she's about to release and make it available for the people. I know she already got a page available for the people so they can have a place or a safe place to understand that you're not the only one. And we're going to bring her up so she could tell y'all more about that. So let's figure this out real quick. There she go. How you doing, Liz?
Hi, everybody.
All right. So it's so good to have you on the platform this evening. Okay,
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
no doubt, no doubt. So look, let's do this. Would you mind just introducing yourself to the audience and then letting them know why you're on the platform this evening?
Of course. So, my name is Lizzie. I am the founder of the Bloom Room. For those of you that don't know what the Bloom Room is, the Bloom Room is basically a Facebook group, which I see it more than that. It's basically it was created to be a safe space for growth, healing, and for real conversations. It's basically a community where people can show up just as they are, where there's no pressure, no judgment. And it's basically for people like me, just trying to navigate through life, healing from things that they don't feel comfortable talking about, and just really for people that just needed a place, to feel seen and understood. So I'm thankful for
Mm,
this opportunity to kind of put it out there and welcome anyone who's in that stage of life where they're just trying to find their voice and to heal.
yeah. Yeah. And I think that's the biggest thing is healing, right? Like I think to sometimes, like, you gotta let these things out inside of you. You have to get it out, right? Because that's the things that people hold on to that bothers them the most, because it
Definitely.
just keeps reoccurring in your mind, right? And I've realized that a lot of times when we say the things out loud, we either feel better or sense a release, or sometimes we really get where we supposed to go with that bit of
Exactly.
life lesson. What do you think about that particular portion of not being afraid to like let these things out?
Well, first of all, I can only speak from experience. I understood, especially going through a lot of traumatic experiences in my life. Is even as a young child, internalizing everything. So what ends up happening is that you don't live anymore. You're just basically just surviving, right? And sometimes you don't find it's hard because some people don't find the words, right? They don't know what they're feeling, especially if you struggled from a young age.
Mhm.
And then what ends up happening is that as you age, you don't realize you're carrying all of that because you're not speaking about it, you're not letting it out, you're not giving it a chance, you're not giving yourself a chance to um be heard or to seek help. And a lot of people that do go through traumas and things like that, they do hold it in, afraid of stigma and things like that. um
Right.
and they don't have that sounding board like you mentioned earlier. And so you age and you find yourself carrying all this, you become exhausted, your nervous system shuts down basically, right? You sometimes people develop mental illness, anxiety, depression, bipolar disorder, all types of stuff. They become suicidal, because we're not meant
Mm,
to carry all that. We're just not meant
right.
to. And so, like I said, I can speak from experience is that I try to carry things, and I found myself, buried, literally, like,
Mm,
and so with the Bloom Room, it's like, I'm just trying to remind people that, our thing is, you're not buried, you're planted, you're being planted. Let's change that around,
yeah.
you know.
And I like that. I like that because the one thing about social media, what I found out is that a lot of people put their personal business out there in a heartbeat, right?
Hmm.
And then whenever people react to it the way that they do, whether it's negative or positive, I only see people respond to the negative,
Right.
right? But it's you who put the business out there for people to respond to
Right.
in the first place.
Yeah.
But what I didn't understand was why people wouldn't look for a place on social media, right? That they can have that type of conversation where the response from it can be from people of a related place, right? Where they could relate, may not be exactly going through, but just the feeling that it feels to go through certain things. I think we all can relate.
Yeah.
And I think that's what keeps us separate too. And I think for men and women, right, is that we think that everything we go through is a man or a woman thing when we don't
Mhm.
understand that life don't give a damn what your
Oh,
gender is,
not at
right?
all.
Trauma is trauma, and each person is going to go through it at some point, and if you
Absolutely.
don't, we can understand that comes with a sense of privilege.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about this because you said even from a young space, right? Because
Mhm.
the way young people are going through things nowadays, they don't even have a space that they could talk either because if they put their business on social media, it gets talked about, ran through, and treated another way. How open would you guys be at listening to maybe the thoughts and the mindset of those that are younger? How do you feel about
Oh,
that?
I'm very open, very open. I have experience working with younger children, specifically younger girls.
Mm,
And that's where, I mean, that's my goal, is to reach the
mm,
younger people, because like I feel as though if someone would have caught me at that young age, it would have saved a lifetime, you know what I mean, years of
yeah.
heartache. So you want to get people when they're young, specifically me, I mean young girls, but like you said, trauma doesn't have a it's not gender specified, right? It can happen to anyone.
Mm,
um but I'm very open to that right now. I think because I'm in my healing stage, I don't have a degree in this. I'm not, certified in any anything like this. I'm in my healing stage, so I'm actually using this as a healing space, a safe space for myself as well. One of my things I always say is
mm,
I'm healing out loud because I almost died in silence. So
yeah.
this is my way of just fighting for my life, basically. It was created out of a place of just having to survive, a place of of
Yeah.
survival. Um, so I mean, I definitely welcome younger kids, but right now it's a Facebook group and my following is older people. That's who I
Right.
draw. But as I expand, I do want, I mean, I'm gonna think big, I'm gonna dream big. I want all types of sectors, or I guess
People.
you would call it. Yeah, like people specializing in this age group or specializing, because some men only feel comfortable speaking with men, some women only feel comfortable speaking with women, depending on what they've been through.
Right.
So if I could make it that big, I mean, the Bloom Room is only not maybe a month, just now a month old.
Right.
So there is very, very new. So
But the concept is not right because the only reason
no.
why I ask about the younger is because with a lot of the people who are older, I see like they have a little bit more pride in letting things out
Oh
because
yeah.
some of that they hold on to allows them to you
Yeah.
know
They identity
say
they
that this
become
is their
yeah, that
platform.
becomes their identity, basically.
Hmm.
It's hard
Yeah.
to, put a mirror to yourself, and to
Right.
face those things. It's very hard.
Right. And I think that's where the real healing begins. And sometimes, like you said, not having a degree in something or like a paper that says that validates things does not take away from experience, right?
Mm,
Because whenever a person is put in a position where they have somebody to listen to them,
right.
they always find a means of hope, more so than it matters if the person that they're talking to has a
Mm,
validation paper or a
mm,
degree or whatever that
experience.
is, right? It's experience because that person that has experience ain't gonna gossip about the person that's talking, right? Because you've
Yeah,
been through something. You're not gonna listen to somebody's
exactly.
story
It's
and
coming
then
like
run
that.
back. You know what I'm saying?
I like that.
So how do you feel about that when it comes down to that portion of people feeling afraid to actually talk to people because they think that people will use it against them? Do you
I
feel like
tell
that's happened to you?
I tell that to people that I invite to the Bloom Room all the time. I always tell them, like, first of all, I'm a part of all these different groups on Facebook. And so these are people who are struggling with things. And when I invite people over and I'm like, listen, your voice matters too. It matters a lot more than you think. There's people who are going through the same things you're going through. Who better else to just help somebody when they know that you're going through the same thing. Actually, they receive it better, right? Because
Mm,
when you go through things as a kid, they put you in all these groups and you're talking to these, no offense, but people who have these degrees who've never been through nothing, right? And from somebody like me, a girl from around the way, I'm listening to you talk to me and I'm like, you have no idea. You know what I mean? You're reading to me from a textbook. You've never had to walk a mile in my shoes. What can you really tell me? So it never stuck for me.
mm,
It never stuck for me, and I never got anything out of it. And so that's one of my things too, that I remind people all the time when they come over, and I encourage the members, like, speak up. Like, don't ever think you're too too far gone to ever say something. You never know what you might say something, you might share an experience that's going to really probably change somebody's life or change somebody, at least their day today, right?
yeah,
So that's big for me. It's not about having a degree. It's not about anything like that. um I do agree with you that experience, I think, trumps any type of 4 year, 8 year master degree, doctorate. I don't care what it is. You go through something and you can live to tell about it. That speaks volumes. That moves
yeah,
mountains for people.
yeah. Because a lot of people go through things and they allow that to take them out.
Yeah.
That was one of the things that you said earlier in your introduction. Basically, this is what helped you get out of that mindset too. Because there are
Yeah.
so many people that have gone through things, right? And they think the easiest thing is for them not to exist, right?
Yeah.
Because some of us grow up in a lot of families that are huge, and then there are times when you have close family members and then you don't, right? But a lot of people's childhood trauma stems from their family and their surroundings, right? That they go through. Very few people are very much traumatized from outside people. It's
Mhm.
always the people that's closest to them that have been battling as adults,
Yeah.
still with
Yeah.
things they never got over.
Yeah.
How important do you think it is for people to really understand, like, you know, things that we go through? It really leads us to our purpose because
Mhm.
it doesn't feel like it when you're going through it. Because
Mhm.
where you are right now with the Bloom Room, it led you to your purpose, right? All of the
Mhm.
things that you had to go through. So, how important do you think that is, right? To, you know, be in a position where you feel like you want to find what your purpose is?
First off, I do think it comes with the mindset, because it has to come from, I mean, for me, I feel like it comes from, like, this belief system that I have. I refuse to go out. I don't want to sound like, but like out like a sucker, right? Like,
Yeah,
after all this life of pain that I've experienced, why can't I turn that around, right? And turn that around, like, whatever the devil, as you could say, the devil, whatever meant for my destruction, why can't we turn that around and turn that into to good, right? Like,
right.
I gotta, this cannot, I cannot, I didn't go through this for nothing. I'm
Right.
not who I am now if I didn't go through the half the things that I've been through. It's shaped
Right.
me the person that I am today. And if I could help, I always say this, if I could help one person, it'll be all worth it. Because I've had a lot of dark days, you know, and I can't say that
Hmm.
enough. It's like, man, I just don't want to, like I said, just go out like that. Like
Right.
let me learn from this. Like what, because one of my other new things, and mind you, I'm still in the I'm still in the beginning of my healing, you know, becoming who I'm supposed to become, right? I feel like I don't know, like, man, it's just a lot. It's just a lot for me because it's like, okay, coming from being brought up in poverty,
Hmm.
going through a lot of trauma, like I said, all types of trauma, and as an adult, going through even more trauma. It's like, why can't I? Why do I have to accept those that stigma? Why do I have to accept, because I have to be what happened to me?
Right.
You know what I mean? Why do I have to accept
Right.
that?
Right.
Why can't I just turn that around and help somebody, pull somebody up out of it as well? You know?
Right.
And
Yeah.
so this is what the Bloom Room is all about. It's just, like I said, just giving people that safe space, giving them a voice, at least allowing them, or letting them know that this is a safe space. Like, you know, a lot of people, they're not comfortable yet with sharing, and I understand that, you know, um, but one day at a time,
One day at a time. Right.
one step at a
And that's
time.
and that's the most perfect thing because the past is what really got people in a chokehold.
Yeah.
Right? It's our memories. It's the things that people have gone through, the things that is over with. It's still holding on to a lot of people and their attitude and the way they feel about life and the way they view people and things because of things that they went through, not things that they're actually going through in the moment. But then there are people who go through things and it changes them completely,
Mm-hmm.
right? They're completely shut out. They completely shut down. They step away from people. They don't want to be bothered at all. They become something totally different because of what you said. That's the most important, which is mindset.
It's a mindset.
Because you gotta want to, like, the way that you thought about it was like, yo, if all these things bad can happen and we know they're good exist, then I mean good can happen to me. It's
Right.
all in the way that I want my life to be because most people don't realize it's what you speak out your
It
mouth
is.
is,
It really is.
you know.
And the brain is so powerful. That's another thing that people don't understand. It's like your brain is, it works off of, it's repetitive, right? It works on a cycle. It's like what it's used to, that's what it's going to tell your body and your mind, you know, what to think, what to say. It's just so used to familiarity. And so we have to be able to rewire our brain. And that's not easy. Because a lot of people with anxiety, right, and depression, it's like, oh, well, you say it's so much easier said than done. No, of course, but it's going to take you to put some work in too, right? You can't just lay down and accept it, right? If you have to say some
Exactly.
affirmations in the morning, right? I'm beautiful. If you feel like you're the ugliest person walking the earth, if you feel like you're not a whatever, you need to
Right.
tell yourself as many times as you can. Maybe set up a routine. I'm gonna say this to myself in the morning 20 times. And just do that every morning or whatever, every other day. But to to rewire the way you think, you talking about 20, how old am I? Dang, I don't want to age myself, but 20 plus years of trauma. You don't think it's gonna take quite some time to kind of get myself out of that loop? It's
Yeah.
not gonna be overnight. And I think people want this quick fix, right? We live in this world now, this day and age where everything is like, you know, fast food, microwave, you know, but that's not reality. You got to
No.
just put that work in. You have to. It's so vital for your survival. It's like, it's so important. And that's what I want people, I want to remind people too. It's like, just, yo, you're worth it. If nobody else is going to do that for you, right? Don't expect anybody else to do it for you. Yo, put that work in
Right.
for you. Love
Right.
yourself. Look yourself in the mirror. And if you can't love yourself right now, you better. I don't care how many times or how many days it takes. Give yourself at least 5 different affirmations. Let's start with 3. Let's start with 1, right? And to tell yourself that every single day and just help your brain to kind of start to believe that, get yourself out of that loop. It's so worth it. And
Yeah.
I'm still doing it.
Yeah, and you got to do that every day. I don't think people understand the power of affirmations enough, right?
Mhm.
Because it seems so simple. See, that easier said than done phrase is what got people still stuck in their rut because they don't think that it's easy. It was easy for you to get in, or it was easy for whatever to happen to you to happen. It wasn't hard. When somebody did something wrong to you or something
Mhm.
foul, it wasn't hard. It was easy for them.
Mhm.
When your parents, like I said before, our parents just had us. They didn't have no plan. They just had sex. And then they figured they
Mhm.
could do this, that, and the third with us, and that's what they
And
did. But
our
they
whole
didn't set
life.
us up for success. Yeah, they didn't set us
Right.
up for
Now
success,
here we are,
you
adults,
know,
and it
and
sucks.
then in right, and then in other communities, when they plan their children out, they set them up for success, right? But that's the thing about choices. We all have to realize what our sets of choices is. Once we realize that we have a choice. Growing up, we don't have a choice but to go through whatever our parents put us through, or whatever the guardianship is, because we don't have no choice. But once we become adults, we pretty much are in control of how we want to continue our lives. A lot of times, like we said earlier, the things that we went through before adulthood is what's holding so many people
So many
back,
people.
right?
So
But
many
I
people.
do believe that, like you said, starting with the affirmations, it will give you a sense of, some type of pride in how you feel about
No,
you.
you start to really truly believe it. You do. It's like you trick your brain because sometimes, like, let's be real, some people's brains, they don't, just because of everything they've been through, whatever mental illness, right? Whatever thing they got going on, is like their brain they just don't have it. They don't have that thought process like a lot of people do. And so, like I said, that's why those types of people, yes, those affirmations, even when if your brain is healthy, affirmations are just so important. Yo, pump yourself up. Yo, be your biggest hype man. Like really, like I remember my daughters coming down, get ready for school. I'd be like, yes, let's go. Like, you know what I mean? Pumping them up for the day. Like, you need that. You need that. Do it for yourself if nobody's doing it for you.
Right.
And so I'm back to doing that for myself.
And that's good, yo, because a lot of people need that. Even the people that are quote unquote looking that are busy, right? Because there are certain types of people out here in the world where, a person sees them continuously pushing through, but they don't know how much they have to self motivate themselves in order to get it done. It's not a bunch of cheerleading going on in the background for those that really believe in themselves, right? It's really you cheering for you. It's really you with your own pom poms out, doing your own cheering for you in order for you to continue to move forward. Right? Your mic is muted, but yeah, but that's the one thing that I tell people a lot is that if you ever put yourself in a position where you don't believe in you, then it's going to be really hard for other people to believe in you as well. Yeah, your mic is muted. Hold on, let me see. Let me see if I can unmute you. I can't. It says you or your mic ain't connected. I don't know. Maybe it's the phone. Did you
All right,
you
hold
got
on
your
now.
there you go. Yeah.
Boy. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right.
All right.
Sorry.
You got another you like you got a family member saying, "Hey, what's good?"
Oh, Sana. She came on. Because it's
All
not live
right.
on my page. I don't know why.
Oh, it's not. It should be. Well, it's not. It's live on mine, so people should be able to catch it. You can just direct them over there. It's cool. But yeah, uh, as far as that whole thing, what do you think? Because I think whenever we put ourselves in a position to believe in ourselves, more things happen for us than not. How affirmations is one thing, but how much do you think it is physical? Do you think that sometimes people have to physically force themselves into that space as well too, not just the way they think?
Most definitely. I think what I'm learning is that there's a difference between motivation and discipline. People wait on motivation all the time. That's their like goal. Like, okay, this I'm gonna do this because I'm motivated now. You're not gonna always feel motivated, bro. I'm sorry. There's gonna be days where you don't want to do nothing. I mean, from my experience, I mean days. So you got to practice self discipline. I think that's important. And that's one of the things I try to teach in the Bloom Room as well. It's, you got to create healthy habits, right? Um, Routines are very important. Um, and being consistent. Motivation is not always going to be your go-to. There's going to be days you're going to be motivated, and you better take those days and run with them and make the best out of them days. But there's going to be days where you don't want to do nothing. You're not going to want to move.
Right.
And so that's where discipline comes into play. You're not going to want to work
Fa-
out. You're not going to want to, your body, especially when you're used to like being stuck in depression for so long, and just doom scrolling all day, and your brain is that's what gives you your dopamine for the day, your kick. It sucks. And I tell people too, you got to embrace the suck. Embrace it, because
Wow.
it's not always going to be you're not going to always physically or mentally be into it, because our
Yeah.
bodies, for whatever reason, they don't, it doesn't like, I don't know what it is. I just feel like in my experience, we tend to do the things that are bad for us most of the time. Nothing
Mm,
that, anything that's good for us is like, ugh, it's too much. I'd rather just, sulk and be here in this space. And it's like, you gotta want more for yourself, especially if you have children. You know what I
mm.
mean? It's like you have to. We get one life. I mean, I know there's people that believe we get more than one, but at least you get one that you remember and
Right.
make the best out of it.
Yeah. And I'm with you on that, man, because the physical part is important. You got to kind of have that balance, right? You got to find a way to really not look at yourself and the flaws that you feel like is bad for you. Because I was watching this thing about Michael Jackson, right? Because they got this new movie coming out about him
Hmm.
where his nephew is playing him.
Yeah.
And they was breaking down a couple of other things, and they were saying that the main thing about him was he just didn't like the way he looked.
Hmm.
So he went through so many different changes of changing the way he looked because he can never see himself as, just who he was meant to be. He always wanted to see himself as something else because he didn't like what he saw.
Right.
And I noticed that a lot of people suffer from that.
Hope I do.
They're upset with what they see.
Yeah, I'm
And
with you.
because of that,
Close that door.
it makes them do things that they probably wouldn't do if they felt like they looked a different way.
Yeah.
So self image is important.
Self-image. And
Yeah.
we live in a time. I mean, as long as I can remember, it's been like that. But now it's even worse. We have social media now. Everybody's trying to look a certain way. I feel like everybody looks the same now. Everybody strives to be. You know what I mean? And it's like, I wish, I wish that wasn't the thinking of our young people, that we have to look a certain way in order to be accepted. You know, and that's a whole nother hill we gotta climb, the
Hmm.
looks thing, because
Yeah.
we
Because some people trauma is that. Like they've been traumatized just because of how they looked all their life.
exactly. And it's hard, like I said, you got years of that trauma, and it takes a while to get to kind of break out of that cycle. And that's why we said those affirmations are so important. Like, I'm beautiful inside and out. On my good and bad days, I'm this, I'm that. Like, we definitely have to um, shine more light on the power of these affirmations, these positive self-affirming, statements that we do or say to ourselves, every day.
Hmm.
That's
And we,
important, especially if you don't have a support system and it's
mm,
just you. You got to be your biggest cheerleader. You
facts.
have
And
to.
You right though. Them positive affirmations got to be multiple times a day too.
Oh, I believe it.
Sometimes you got to find
Start
yourself.
somewhere. Let's start somewhere. Let's start somewhere, you know. Because I know for me, it's like when people be like, "Oh, you got to do this 3 times a day." It's like I'm already like overwhelmed. So that's why I encourage people, right? Because healing isn't linear, right? It takes it's people heal at their different paces, right? And it's like so important to remind people, like, man, if you can't
Yeah,
do it every day, yo, dedicate yourself to every other day. Let's start
yeah.
somewhere, because as more the more you start to feel good after those weeks of every other day, you're gonna want to do it every day. No,
But you're right. You got to start.
sorry, my mom.
Your mom.
Sorry, yo, she killed me. 9.
But no, you definitely got to start
She said sorry.
from somewhere and find yourself in a place that you're not afraid to keep telling yourself those affirmations as well too, because I want to encourage people to do more of that because it will help you get through.
It will. It truly will. In the Bloom Room, we have something called the Blooming Affirmation Series. And so every week, right, we have a new focus. We've already done confidence, we've done courage, we've done healing. Um, and so, like I said, every week is a different focus. And I create or try to come up with different affirmations for people to do during that week. And we have little bloom boosts that I do throughout that day or periodically throughout the week, just to keep reminding people, like, this is what we're doing, like, take the time out right now to just say this to yourself, you know. So like I said, some people just need that extra like reminder, and that's basically what I'm trying to create right now, is just, like I said, that safe space for people, just to remind people, like, you can do it. Like, if you can't do it for yourself right now, I'm gonna be the reminder, since I'm
Yeah,
going through it too myself. So why not?
facts.
If I could do it now, I could do it and pull all that together, all that stuff I went through recently, and help somebody else. It just motivates me more, or gives me more of a, like, I'm not alone. So some people don't think too much of themselves, but when it comes to other people, they go over and beyond. I'm that type of person. So
Yeah.
going over and beyond for others is helping me to look at myself like, man, if you could have compassion for other people, girl, you better have some self compassion too. So
That
that's
makes sense. But look, let's talk a little bit about the platform that's springing off of the Facebook page, which is the podcast,
yes.
right? You and your co-host. Let's talk a little bit about that because I think the podcast is going to be a place where their voice is really going to be heard. It's going to be in the Facebook page as well, but then, more of a one-on-one type of scenario or a one-on-two because it's you and your co-host. So let's talk a little bit about that real quick before we get out of here. Let's talk about the podcast portion of the Blue Room. All right. Tell everybody about that and about your co-host and why you chose your co-host that you did.
Yes. So the podcast is called um, Truth Hurts, Lizzie and Sana Unleashed. And it's with my co host, is my cousin Sana, who's also, I call her my sister. It's funny, like, we didn't really grow up together. We are cousins. I mean, we have the same last name, all that. Um, we didn't grow up together, but as adults, she tells the story all the time. Like, I bum rushed her. We was at the bar, and I'm like, "You're my cousin," and like, I want to like get to know you, blase blase. And from there, like, we got really really tight because we realized, like, we just had so much in common, and like the way our hearts are set up is like so similar. We love on people, and she's like, I just love her. And so for years, like, I love our conversations ever since we got close. And in the last maybe few years, we would always talk about, like, we have such the dopest conversations. Like, man, I just wish people could hear on this, because like she feeds me, she feeds my soul, and I would like to think that I feed hers on different times, and she's helped me gone through a lot of things. And so, you know our podcast is basically going to be about the things that people, especially in the Black community, don't like to talk about, really, right? The generational curses, the trauma, the addiction, just a lot of the stuff that we personally had to live through at such young ages and growing up, domestic violence, just a lot of stuff, and basically put it out in the forefront. And so, like, the Bloom Room is a place, right, where people can, get planted, right, and learn about themselves or whatever. And then the podcast is a place where now we digging out the roots now, right? We exposing a lot of stuff that a lot of people are scared to face. That kind of blocks them from becoming who they're supposed to become. And so that's where that podcast is was kind of born from. Is like just to like really, because a lot of people don't take accountability for a lot, and we're just tired of that. And so we're just putting everything on Front Street.
Oh, so when it comes down to the podcast, because I think that's important, because the Bloom Room should be a place where people have a safe space within, like you said, digging out the roots. How can one get on the podcast as a guest, or is that just you and your co-host really talking through things, or will you
No,
allow guests
we're
on the
yes,
platform?
we have a few people lined up already, and these are people that we know personally. I mean, people from the, you know, real deal, like been through some stuff that can speak on it.
Right.
People that are willing to take accountability and explain why they may have caused trauma for other people, right? And not necessarily like putting or shining a light on bad things, or like or shining a light on their bad actions or what they are, their bad past, but people who are willing to say, what I've done caused this in someone's life, or you know and I'm just here to say, or to, I don't know, to shed a light on why people do the things that they do, right? And why
Mm.
people should feel safe to heal from people who caused a lot of damage to them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're going to be hearing it from a person like that, their mouth, or so. And we have victims of certain traumas that we have lined up. So a couple of these people are people that we personally know, but obviously as time goes on, um, we're open to anyone. I mean, professionals in certain things, anybody really who wants to share their story, who wants to
Right.
promote their podcast, who wants to promote their groups or their community. Really open to anybody that's just a part of the movement.
That's dope. Yeah, because it's important that people know that the platform is a little bit different than the Bloom Room,
A little
right?
different for sure.
Just a little, but it still
More
works
raw.
together.
Yeah. It's more, it's going to be because you have two different personalities on this podcast. Like, I'm my cousin is more the personality, or more the, like, you're gonna hear her talking, you're gonna be like, you know what I mean? Because she talked that, like, real stuff, and it doesn't come off as being intimidating or scary or anything like that.
Right.
I always tell her, like, you should be a motivational speaker. You ever hear these motivational speakers
Mm,
talk? It makes you, like, tap in and be like, wow, if she can do it, I can do it.
right.
And then you have me, who's the, like, more like, soft, and, like, the bloom room, right? Flowers and all this, right? So I think it's a good mix.
Balance.
I think it's gonna draw in all different types of people. Who Some people learn, want to be taught raw and hard, and some people want to be, you know, bottle fed, and kind of like it's like the milk and the
Yeah.
meat. She's the meat, I'm the milk, type thing.
Gotcha. So if you had to explain to people the podcast, right? So for those that be watching now, or the ones that will watch the playback, and they realize that you might be a space that they can really get the conversation on, what would you want them to actually get from the conversation that they have with you and your cousin by joining the True First
I
podcast?
want them to understand that their trauma doesn't define who they are. That they don't have to listen to the voices in their head that tells them that they deserved what happened to them, and that they can never, that they have to, be embarrassed about it, and fall into this stigma. They don't got to be categorized. Like you can totally, totally be who you were designed. What your purpose was, you can totally, totally still do that. And actually,
Right.
because of what you've been through, that's what's going to actually catapult you into that person that you were meant to
Facts.
be. You know, and so I want people just to be have us like again the bloom room, yes, a safe space to talk about it, to heal and to grow. The podcast is equally that as well. It's just that people can tap in and really be more real about it, right? And really talk about it. Like let's have that real conversation about it. What happened? Because we're gonna talk about what happened to us. We're gonna talk about our family dynamic, what's going on in our families, and you know, because that's the only way I feel like people are gonna actually be like, you know what? If they've been through that, if they can do this and talk with a straight face and come on here and be who they are, why can't I?
Mm,
Because we're not. I used to be embarrassed about a lot of things, but now it's like, no, that's my life. Like it is what it is, man.
right. And a lot of times that's what holds people back is being embarrassed for the things that they're going through.
Yeah, the
But I
stigma.
think it's very important what you said that people realize that, we do have our faults and things that we've gone through, but a lot of things that we deal with wasn't our fault.
No, at all. There's some evil people in the world, unfortunately. There's just some people in the world that, let certain things, hurt people. And that's why we talk a lot about generational curses. These never ending cycles. That is literally birthed from one generation to another because nobody wants to talk about it. Anything in our family, a lot of things are brushed under the rug and it's not talked about, and that's why everybody's stagnant, nobody is growing, everybody still live, and we don't want to talk about that, and we won't go that far, but nobody feels like they want more. And then when you talk about things like this, that we want more for our children, it's like, you think you're better than us, you think you're this, and it's like, no, but you can have this too. You can have this mindset too, that you are better than that. You don't got to be
Right.
stuck in that. Who told you that?
Right. And that's the mindset. Most
It's a
people,
mindset thing.
we talked about that earlier. It's that physical part, right? The flesh, the battle between the spiritual and the physical. It's just something about that flesh that people feel that thing and they just hold on
It's their
to it.
comfort. It's their
They will
comfort.
not let it go for the life of them and
Trauma bond.
understand
We talk
that
about
it's a
trauma
better
bond.
way and they can't get over what they've been through.
Nope.
It's corny.
It's what it
But
is.
look, let's do this because I want most of the people, if not all the people that's watching right now, and the people that will watch the playback to know how they can get in touch with you and figure out more about the Bloom Room and how to join and all those other things.
So first and foremost, you could definitely follow my page, my personal page, Lizzy Lebby. And the link in my bio is the link to the Bloom Room. And I encourage everybody who's in that state right now in their life, their healing journey, or they feel stuck, stagnant, they don't even know what to think. Definitely join. Like I said, it's still in the beginning stages, um, but I will definitely encourage each and every one of you um, to jump on board. I think it'll be somewhat hopefully a lot beneficial, but at least something you'll get. I hope you'll get something out of it. It's a private group. I think we're like 360 members right now. Um, but I really think it'll help someone who's definitely feeling like they don't have anywhere else to go. And my DMs are always open too for people. Like I said, I'm still healing, I'm still learning, but if I could lend a helping hand, with something, I'm definitely there. You know,
Okay, bad. And let everybody know when they can expect the podcast or,
the
information
podcast.
about
So
that.
our first episode, we've given ourselves a month to really, really dig deep and to collect all of our, thoughts and to really make it a professional, smooth running episode for you guys. So I would think maybe give us about a couple of weeks before our premiere.
That's
Couple weeks,
good.
but I'll definitely and on my personal page, on her personal page, Maire, same last name, Lebby, and then the Bloom Room, which is the link in our bio. Um, we'll definitely be putting out our the date for sure.
Okay, bad. So for all of y'all that watch tonight, thank y'all so much, as we always say, man, for joining us each and every week as I talk to some of the world's most interesting people. Also, I want you guys to be on the lookout for the podcast. And also, if you guys are in a space where you need a safe space to talk about the things, to try to get to the healing, to get through the trauma, to get over it, make sure y'all hit Lizzie up. Make sure y'all click the link in her bio. Make sure y'all jump into the Bloom Room. Make sure you start sharing, and make sure that you be a light and voice for other people too, because you're going to see other people's story. So
Yes,
remember, give what you want to receive.
definitely.
Okay. All right. And like I say each and every week, y'all, if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will. So until next week, y'all hold it down out there. All right. Peace.
Thank you, everyone.